What's up, guys? Welcome to Triumph's Dumpster Fire Mock Draft.
What's up, guys? Before we get into it, we're going to start off with 10 QBs better than Jalen Hurts. I'll let you take it from the top.
All right, so I'm thinking Bo Nix.
Bo Nix.
Bo Nix.
That's a close one. I don't know if I agree with that one, but I'm going to go with Drake May.
100%. Just the way that he played last year, he just looked like he was in total command.
Mm-hmm.
Something that Jalen Hurts, we haven't seen from him in a couple of years now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just the way that he can do both very well. When he needs to get on the move and use his legs, he can definitely do that. And then, like you said, taking command of the offense. Who you got next?
The third QB better than Jalen Hurts is Justin Herbert.
Okay.
Hopefully this year he can silence all the doubters and actually win a playoff game.
Yeah, he's definitely got to do something here soon at this point. You can only get so far on teammate, coach recommendations, and people saying that you have all the tools before you actually start having to put wins on the record and win some playoff games. And I think that's similar to what we got with my next selection. So Dak Prescott is who I got. I just think he's a far more polished passer, and when we talk about leading the offense, being the leader in the team, making a difference, this Dallas Cowboy teams live and dies by that QB, so I'm going to go with him. Who do you got?
Number 5, I'm going with Caleb Williams.
Okay, it's a good one.
Coming into year 3 now? Last year his resemblance to Patrick Mahomes, that was his NFL comp going into that draft that year. And I was one of the guys who said, don't be calling him Patrick Mahomes and him looking like Patrick Mahomes and what he does. But last year, man, he was making some magical plays. It's like, wow, you know what? That is Patrick Mahomes-esque. So Caleb Williams, better than Jalen Hurts.
All right, I'm going to go with the easy one here. I'm going to go with Matthew Stafford. Led the league in passing touchdowns, 46. Passing yards, 4,707. Really the number 1 QB in the league last year. So who do you got?
Number 7, this is where it gets tricky. I am going to have to go with Jared Goff.
Okay.
As he's gotten older and has played more seasons in this league, especially with the Lions, you can just rely on him to make those passes and to make those plays and make those checks and check downs. So I think he is more of a reliable quarterback than Jalen Hurts is right now.
All right, I like it. I'm going to go with Joe Burrow. Obviously, he's elite when he's healthy. He has all the arm talent in the world. He's a dual threat, again, whenever he's healthy. I think he just has the better chance to make a huge difference in each of these games. Again, the huge asterisks when he's healthy. I think we're assuming all of these guys are healthy, so that's what I'm going with.
I'm slanderous because I'm not picking C.J. Stroud as my last pick for QB better than Jalen Hurts. But I just need to see more from C.J. Stroud, so he's not in the picture right now, even though I am wearing his jersey. Man, this is difficult. Joey B was a good one. Stafford's a good one. I'm trying to think of who else. I'm really leaning heavy on Trevor Lawrence right now, so I'm going to go with T-Law. Another year under his belt. He really performed much better last year. So every year he's progressing in the right direction, and I think this year he's going to be even better.
I like it. I'm going to go with a controversial one here next. I'm going to go with Brock Purdy. Number 2 in total QBR last year. He's a game manager extraordinaire. Great accuracy, great decision making. I think he's earning his paycheck as far as it goes right now, so I'll go with Purdy.
All right, and that is 10 QBs better than Jalen Hurts.
Love it.
Next up, we got 10 running backs better than Kenneth Walker. He was the talk of the town in free agency this past year. I'll go ahead and start. I'm going to make this an easy pick right now with a no-doubter, Bijan Robinson. He had over 2,000 all-purpose yards last year on 287 carries on the ground, and he had 79 receptions. The only knock on him is he just cannot get those touchdowns. So if he can get those touchdowns in that offense, and Kevin Stefanski, I believe he's going to use Bijan more in red zone opportunities. So Bijan, number 1 running back that is better than Kenneth Walker.
I'm going to go with another easy one. We're going to go with Jonathan Taylor. Led the league in rushing yards multiple times, TDs multiple times, elite vision, elite power. You can't go wrong with him. Who do you got?
Number 3, I am going with Travis Etienne. Last year was a breakout year for him. He had over 1,100 yards on the ground. He had almost 300 yards through the air. He's in a new system. I think Tyler Shuck will have a better year than he did last year. His rookie season, he didn't play too bad towards the end of the season. And Travis Etienne also has Alvin Kamara in the backfield with him, so he's not going to be the workhorse of that offense. Maybe he will be. That's great for him because then his production will get even higher.
Yeah, that one's a stretch, man, but it's a good one. I'm going to go with Jahmyr Gibbs. High efficiency scorer, big playability. You can't go wrong with him. Montgomery's gone. We're going to see a bigger piece of him this upcoming year, and we're excited to see it. So, who you got?
Next up, I want mine to be controversial, so I will go with Breece Hall. Better than Kenneth Walker. Now, you might be thinking I'm crazy. How many players, particularly at the running back position, could succeed at the level Breece Hall has playing for the Jets? I would think not too many.
It's a great argument.
So Breece Hall, better than Kenneth Walker.
I'm going to go with the powerhouse, Derrick Henry. 1,600 yards. Again, still dominant at his age. Really just super consistent. You're always going to be able to count on him in any situation. That's what I'm going with.
That's a good one. Never doubt the king. Next up, Kyren Williams. I have him better than Kenneth Walker. I wasn't a big believer in Kyren Williams after his breakout year 2 years ago. But this past year, he just continues to be consistent. And he had over 1,200 yards on the ground. 10 touchdowns. 36 receptions, 281 yards through the air. That offense is going to continue to do its thing. It's a high-flying, high-powered offense. The more weapons they have on that offense, it just opens up everything for Kyren Williams to succeed, and I think he's going to be better this year.
You're trying to get us killed, man. I'm going to go with Christian McCaffrey. It's a no-brainer. He's been top 3 in the league for entirety of his career. When he's healthy, he is the offense. So that's what I'm going with.
That's a great one. I'm going to keep the train rolling. All the new Kenneth Walker fans in Kansas City are going to hate me for this, but I quite frankly do not care. Ashton Jeanty, running back for the Raiders. You think about the offensive line he had to run behind last year. They were complete and utter dumpster fire. And he still had almost 1,000 rushing yards. Add on almost 350 yards through the air. He's going to have a breakout season this year in Ashton Jeanty. And you Kansas City Chiefs fans are going to have to see him twice a year now. So, boom.
This one's tough, man. I'm struggling, man, and this one is a stretch. I'm pulling one out of your playbook here. I'm gonna go with Jeremiah Love. I think coming in, he has a lot of potential. Whoever he's gonna play for, if they can even block for him a little bit, that he can be a high producer and possibly supersede and be better than what K9 is gonna do next year for the Kansas City Chiefs. So that's how we'll wrap it up.
He's younger. He's got all the intangibles to be that all-pro running back in the league. I love Jeremiah Love. And the last running back, better than Kenneth Walker, is Chase Brown, running back for the Bengals. He started off pretty slow last year. He still had over 1,000 yards on the ground. He had almost 450 yards through the air on 69 receptions, 5 touchdowns receiving. So those receptions make him more valuable and, to me, just a better running back than Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker has struggled through the air, so that's something to keep an eye on in Kansas City.
All right, that wraps it up. I honestly think we were out of this thing at Kyren Williams, but hey, there's the names. Tell us what you think about it. And yeah, let's get into it. I think we're ready to move into this draft.
Let's do it.
All right.
All right, first up, Raiders, pick number 1. No doubt, no brainer, Fernando Mendoza, quarterback out of Indiana. Taken, number 1.
Nice. Yeah, you can't go wrong with him. I think that's pretty much everyone's on the same page. He's been in constant contact with Brady, supposedly. Knew him since he was a kid, grew up a Patriots fan. Brady's going to have a lot of pull in that organization, doing what he does now, being a part owner. So I don't think you're going to be wrong there. Number 2 for the New York Jets. These guys, they need a QB. They've got their bridge quarterback in Geno Smith. They need wide receiver help with Garrett Wilson. They need some edge production. I'm going to have to go with here David Bailey, Texas Tech.
David Bailey is off the board.
David Bailey, 6'3", 251 pounds, 4'5", 40. He just looks like the more pro-ready edge. I know there's been a lot of controversy. Who's going first, him, Arvell Reese? Obviously, only time will tell, but that's who we're rolling with here.
He had 14 and a half sacks this past year. Almost 20 tackles for loss, 3 forced fumbles. That's just an elite production.
Yep.
So, wow, great pick. Number 3, Cards. Their needs, they need offensive line. They need a QB. I still believe in Jacoby Brissett, but he's not their QB of the future. Cardinals need some safety help, but I'm not picking a safety this early in the draft. If I'm a Cardinals front office, I'm going to go O-line first in this draft. Everything out after the first round, I'm going to focus on that defensive side of the ball. So the only pick I have right here is Francis Mauigoa, Miami. That's who I got to go with. Number 3 to the Cardinals. You look at this guy. He's light on his feet. He's quick, and he maintains his blocks. He would be a great cornerstone. A couple years ago, I don't remember how long ago, but the Cardinals drafted Paris Johnson Jr. from Ohio State, and he hasn't really had any help on that offensive line. So if they can get another pillar on that offensive line, I think that would set them up for a lot of success with the weapons that they do have in that offense.
I love it, man. Next, we've got the Tennessee Titans. This is definitely a tough one, man. I do think they're going to need to go O-line. Cam Ward. I'm going to go with Spencer Fennell out of Utah. So this guy, 6'5", 311 pounds, 40, 4'9". Obviously, he's a lineman. But he's one of the best tackles in college right now. I think this one's a no-brainer.
That's a great pick. And it makes a lot of sense. You look at the Raiders last year. Who did they draft first? They drafted Ashton Jeanty, and he was just torched every time, every play, just getting lit up in the backfield. So if that doesn't tell the Titans what to do first, go and get some blockers to pave the way for the running backs that you do have and to protect Cam Ward. Go do it. Next up, at number 5, Jeremiah. He's looking pretty enticing if I'm John Harbaugh right now. But let's look at the needs. The Giants, they need a defensive tackle. They need a guard, so an interior offensive lineman. They need some cornerback help. Do we draft a cornerback at number 5 overall? I don't remember the last time a cornerback has been drafted that high. But I think you still need to protect your franchise quarterback. Their O-line is iffy. However, that defense in Sonny Styles at linebacker, he's really a hybrid. He reminds me a lot of Micah Parsons. So number 5, I'm going Sonny Styles, linebacker out of Ohio State.
Nice. All right. Next, we got the Cleveland Browns. They've got no shortage of positions to fill for this team. Ultimately, I think they need some front line protection. No matter who they put out at quarterback last year, every single one of them was running for their lives. A lot of them were injured for that reason. So you've got to think they're looking at offensive line going into this one. With Spencer Fennell out, you've got a couple more solid options. Honestly, right here, I think we're going to go with Monroe Freeling. That's who we're going to go with here.
Great pick.
Offensive tackle out of Georgia, 21 years old, 315-pound left tackle, 4-star recruit. This dude is just a solid pick. He's a pro-ready pick. And, yeah, that's who we're rolling with.
So with Anu gone already, and Francis, he's a great pick. Next up, number 7, we have the Commanders. I'm on the clock. Their needs are wide receiver, cornerback, and center. But, however, they only have one running back on the roster right now, and that is Jacoby Krosky Merritt. And he was hit or miss last year. Very inconsistent. So they need to add some depth. You have a NFL-ready running back available for you at pick number 7. Your offensive linemen, they're okay. They're not horrible. They're not Raiders level horrible. So I would be comfortable in drafting Jeremiah Love just to give Jaden Daniels another weapon in that offense. So yeah, I'm going Jeremiah Love. Pick number 7, running back out of Notre Dame.
And that's an exciting one for sure. Who wouldn't watch Jeremiah Love, Jaden Daniels in the same backfield? Jaden Daniels coming back healthy next season. That's going to be super exciting and explosive offense. So it's a good one. New Orleans Saints, they're needing some help at wide receiver. You can't just keep depending on Chris Olave. You've got cornerback holes, edge holes. So you got plenty of spots to fill here. Man, this is a tough one. I honestly don't think that these guys are going to be able to pass up Ruben Bain at number 8 here. So that's who I'm going to go with. Ruben Bain, he's just a natural at the position. He's been able to produce all throughout college, was a complete difference maker at Miami. Short arms or not, he's been playing with them his whole life, and I don't think it's going to be any different here in the NFL. That's who we're going with.
He cranked it up with those short arms in the college football playoffs.
No doubt.
9.5 sacks, 13 tackles for loss. He had 1 interception, which for an edge, that's freaking awesome. He's super speedy, powerful, and he impacts not only the run but the pass as well, because you need to worry about that interception potential that he can have. So great pick for the Saints. At number 9, Chiefs. When have they been? When was the last time they were in the top 10 in the draft? It was when they drafted Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Several years ago. Next, you get a guy who has that same potential. And there's 2 names sticking out to me right now. That is Mekhi Lemon, wide receiver out of USC.
Wow.
He's my favorite wide receiver in this draft class by far. He won the Biletnikoff Most Outstanding Wide Receiver in the FBS last year. He won that award, but I'm also staring down and looking at Caleb Downs right now.
Wow.
Who a lot of people say is the best player in this draft. And he might be. But when you're needing to give Patrick Mahomes another weapon, yes, you've got Kenneth Walker now. You have Rashee Rice. You can't really trust Rashee Rice because he's a little wild.
He's also saying that he wants top end, like top 2, top 3 receiver payment, and that's coming up here soon.
Yeah, and I don't think he's worth that. So, man, if I am Chiefs front office, I did lose some key components on the back end of that defense. Caleb Downs is the best prospect in this draft, so I'm going with Caleb Downs.
Dang. It's tough.
Sorry.
All right, let's get into it. So, Cincinnati Bengals, number 10. You got plenty of needs on the defensive line. Linebacker, 2nd worst total defense in the league. 3rd worst scoring defense in 2025. They also got to protect Joe Burrow better, generate more takeaways. They need O-line help. They need DB help. So right here, I think they've got to go with best on the board. I'm going to go with Arvell Reese here. He's going lower than a lot of people expected, but number 10, still top 10 in this draft, and I think the Bengals are going to be extremely happy with him.
And he immediately replaces Hendrickson, who they lost to the Ravens in free agency. So that's an immediate plug-and-play player that they can fill in for that defense. So great pick.
Beautiful.
Next, we have the Miami Dolphins. They need a little bit of everything, but I would say the top needs for them are a wide receiver, edge, and cornerback, or just a playmaker on offense in general. They lost everybody except A-Chain.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to give Malik Willis some help. You paid him $30 million a year. You got to give him some help. You got to set him up for success. So this is where the first wide receiver is taken, and it is going to be my top receiver Makai Lemon, wide
Wow.
receiver from USC.
That's interesting. I definitely had them. I know they lost Jalen Waddle, but I definitely had them pull in another old lineman, hopefully to prevent some of the concussion issues they've been having. But that seems like a Miami Dolphins pick, so I can't blame you there. Next, we've got Jerry Jones' team, the Dallas Cowboys. So they're going to shake it up and do something extremely mid here. You've got Cardinal Tate still on the board, but you've got Pickens. You've got CeeDee Lamb, so you know they're not going to go that direction. You literally need any position here sitting on the defense. You really wanted Caleb Downs to still be on the board. We knew that was going to be a stretch. Ultimately here, I think they're going to do... Man, this is a tough one.
Don't do it.
I think they're going to go with Keldrick Falk here. They need some more pass rush help. They've bolstered the interior line over the offseason, but if we can get a little more disruption on that side, they've got another pick up in the 20s, and I think you can get a quality DB cornerback here in their second pick in the first. So I think up here they're going to go ahead and go with one of the best players still left on the board, and that's Keldrick Falk.
That's a great pick. Great game plan. With your first pick in the first round, at number 12, you want to focus on the front end of that defense. There's 3 or 4 defensive backs that would fit that criteria towards the end of that first round, so that's a great pick. Next, I have are the Rams. There's a lot of talk about the Rams going wide receiver here with Devontae Adams probably at the end of his career at this point. He might have another year or 2 left in the tank, so this would be preparing for the future draft pick. Their top needs are a wide receiver, offensive tackle, and cornerback. Although they did go and get Watson and McDuffie from the Chiefs, who are 2 top-tier cornerbacks, you still need to add some depth to that because they were towards the bottom of the barrel last year in that department. Spencer Fano is who I had there, but he is gone. So I am looking at, man, this is tough. I really want to stick to that game plan of drafting for the future. I really don't have any holes. So they could pick the best player available at this point. And for me, that is going to be Carnell Tate, wide receiver of the Ohio State University.
That is a critical pick because I knew Baltimore was going to take him in the next pick. They had no one besides Zay Flowers, so I know Baltimore's hating that pick there. You already had Puka Nacua. You're going to put Carnell Tate across the field from him with Matthew Stafford, with Kyron Williams. Just complete, powerful offense. You cannot go wrong with that pick at all, so it's a great one. Baltimore. So these guys need, obviously, a wide receiver. They need to replace Tyler Linderbaum, who they lost. They need some DT depth. And I think here, man, this is a tough one. I'm going to go with...
I see some great options.
Yeah. Man, if I'm the Ravens, I'm going to go with the best player on the board as far as offense, so I'm going to go with Kenyon Sadiq. He's a tight end. He's not a wide receiver, but he's going to give Lamar Jackson some more weapons, hopefully bolster up the pass blocking. Mark Andrews, he's getting older. He's diabetic. Who knows? So, yeah, you shore it up, get Kenyon Sadiq in there, get him to learn under Mark Andrews. Come on, who can ask for a better position than that? I love it. And then that guarantees you Mark Andrews, they've used him a crap ton. He's been super productive. So whenever he goes out, it's going to be a seamless transition. Kenyon Sadiq's going to be ready to go right in there. So maybe he's not immediately producing in the first 2 years, but when those 2 years are done, he's going to be ready to start rocking and rolling.
That's
so
an
that's
outstanding pick. They lost Isaiah Likely and, I don't know his first name, but another tight end, Collar, in free agency. So they only have really Mark Andrews.
Mm-hmm.
Fill that hole. You have a need for a playmaker on that offense, and Kenyon Sadiq fits that to a T. So that's a beautiful pick. Number 15, Tampa is on the clock. That leaves me with only one of my prospects remaining. Their needs are edge, linebacker. They lost Levante David. He retired this offseason. And then tight end. Here at 15, there's no other tight end even worth a first-round pick. at this point outside of Kenyon Sadiq. So I'm going to have to go with Ruben Bain's teammate, his partner in crime, who I think will have a great NFL career. And that is going to be Akeem Mesidor, edge from Miami, pick 15.
That's a great pick. The Buccaneers, they need some more of threat on the defensive side, especially on that front. The only other option we could have gone here was offensive line to help better protect Baker. And I think, like you said, there's not too many you're going to take in the top 15. So Akeem Mesidor, that's a pretty solid pick. Next, back again, the New York Jets. This is going to be an interesting one. They can go several directions here. At the top, they went with David Bailey for the edge. Here at pick number 16, you got to think they're looking at maybe a QB prospect to learn under Geno Smith. I like the idea of that. A lot of people are saying Ty Simpson is not going to go in the first round. I think how can you not with the Jets? They have not had one solid QB in here that they can work with. The only other option is maybe O-line or something. And I think in the top 16, what do you have to lose at this point? You've got Geno Smith. You know that's not going to be your quarterback for the future. You're saying, okay, we're going to draft one next year, but why wouldn't you draft one now? Use this pick and use this time for someone to learn under a pro quarterback in Geno Smith and hopefully develop into something that can be really serviceable for you. So I'm going to go with Ty Simpson. Very controversial one, I know, but one that has a lot of upside potentially for the New York Jets, and they need that.
And Dano would 100% agree with you on
Yeah.
that one. And that's just the most.
It's not exactly
thing
who
to
I
do.
want on my side, but yeah.
Yeah. All right, 17. Lions. We're on the clock. Our needs: offensive line, edge, and cornerback. I'm looking at Mansour Delane. How has he not gone off the board yet? Best cornerback in this draft class by far. He allowed only 147 yards in coverage on 14 receptions this past year. So he's just a lockdown corner. And the Lions, in that division, you think of the offenses that they're going to have to play against. Those cornerbacks, those defensive backs got cooked this past year against those wide receivers. So why not go ahead, fill that need right now with the best cornerback in the draft? That's going to be Mansour Delane going to the Lions.
Next, we got the Minnesota Vikings, 9-8 last year. They're needing a center after Ryan Kelly's retirement. They're needing a DB. You have safety and wide receiver concerns. Got a couple directions, and
You know who they lost? You know who retired from them?
Ryan Kelly? Who?
Harrison Smith.
Oh, he retired?
Yeah.
Did not hear that one.
Still so many playmakers on the boards. Wow.
Yeah. I think you've got to do something to help out that new QB in Kyler Murray. I think Kevin O'Connell's going to want to pair him with Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State. Playmaker, solid wide receiver pick. Definitely is a shoe-in at number 18 in the first round. So that's who we're going to go with for the Minnesota Vikings.
That's a great pick. And it's another pick for best player available, and it's also thinking for your future. Yes, you have Justin Jefferson there, you have Jordan Addison, but Jordan Addison is not reliable on or off the field with legality concerns. So you want to go ahead and draft somebody with so much upside in Jordan Tyson. Although he does have some injury concerns, he has all the makings of a wide receiver one in the NFL, so that's a beautiful pick. All right, pick 19, Panthers. We're on the clock. Our needs are safety, wide receiver, and I'm going to go ahead and say edge, although they went heavy in free agency on the defensive side of the ball. I've got two names staring at me right now that I'm happy with either, but I'm thinking if I want to continue to have my franchise quarterback develop and grow and be the franchise QB for the next 10 to 15 years, who we gave up a lot of draft capital for, I'm going to have to go with KC Concepcion, wide receiver from Texas A&M. This guy, he didn't light up the stat board or stat sheet like crazy, but he was very consistent, and he was the yards after catch king last year. He had 61 receptions, 919 yards, 9 touchdowns. But his yards after the catch, out of that 919 total yards receiving, 440 of those yards were after the catch. So that just shows to me that he's going to be a playmaker in the league, and he's going to help Bryce Young succeed next year.
Yeah, that's a great pick. His freshman campaign, obviously record-breaking. He has insane football IQ. He's a 3-level threat. That's a great pick. Dallas at number 20. You've got to double down on the defense here. Quarterback, safety, edge, linebacker. You can use all of them. I think you've got to go with the best defensive player available at this point. I think you're going to go with Jermod McCoy, cornerback. Get him out there alongside Bland. Fill that hole from Diggs and see what you can do.
Yeah, that's a great pick. He is going to help solidify the back end of that defense. You double down, 2 solid, potentially high-caliber first-year players for that Dallas defense and a new defensive scheme. I love that pick. 21, Pittsburgh Steelers. We're on the clock. Our needs, interior offensive linemen. We need a safety. Safety is really weak for us. And yes, we got Michael Pittman Jr. in free agency this past spring, but I'm still thinking we might need another receiver. There's not any receivers on the board right now that I'm interested in. I am going to go with McNeil Warren, safety from Toledo. He's the best safety in this draft class. Yes, he's from a small school, Toledo, but he just excelled really well there. He's highly powerful, and he's very balanced in the pass and run blocking. So he can pretty much play a hybrid position and be anywhere in that defense that you need him to be.
It's a great pick. That defense is getting old over there in Pittsburgh. You move Jalen Ramsey to safety. You don't know how well that's going to turn out. So I think it's a great situation. Next, we've got the LA Chargers. You need an interior O-line help. You need DT pass rush depth. And then ultimately, you need to be able to protect Justin Herbert. I think here, the style, Harbaugh style, they're going to want to go O-line. And I think that involves going with the arguably best guard in the draft. At 22, I think they're going to go with Penn State. Oh, man.
Vega
Ane. You're getting picked in the NFL draft.
Pick 22 to the Chargers.
Yes, Penn State guard, 22, LA Chargers.
Great pick. I can't believe he lasted to pick 22.
Yeah, realistically, he might not. He's got a lot of upside. 320 pounds, 6'4". Dude's huge, and he's mobile. So he's going to be able to do whatever you need him to do at guard. And I think that's going to be perfect for Harbaugh's scheme.
Yeah, you want a guy who can hold his own, not allow any sacks, be a leader in that pass block regiment. He allowed 0 sacks last year, 0 QB hits, and 311 pass blocking snaps. So if you want somebody that's super reliable, you don't have to worry about, it's Vega, man. That's a great pick. All right, Eagles, pick 23. We need an edge, offensive line help, and a tight end. No tight ends on the board that I'm willing to take in 23 in the first round. I'm going to make a splashy pick here. We need edge help, and we need it bad. We got to get some pressure for our defensive front. So I'm going to go with Cassius Howell, edge, at Texas A&M. And I might be one of few people who take him this high.
Yeah, he's a great defensive player out of A&M. 6'2", 253 pounds. 11.5 sacks in 2025. 9.5 sacks in 2023. This dude's a stud. He's going to be productive in the NFL, no doubt. And the Eagles, you can never have enough pass rush, so that's a great pick. Cleveland Browns, after going with Monroe Freeling at number 6, you still need offensive line help. You really can't go wrong with a lot of guys here.
No. A lot of good names.
Mm-hmm. Here, we're going to go with national champion Omar Cooper Jr. at number 24 to the Cleveland Browns. Shadur, he needs more help. You can't go wrong. Wide receiver, Indiana.
That's a great pick. 69 receptions, over 900 yards, 13 touchdowns. His biggest strength to me is his vertical threat, and he's just a do-it-all catcher and blocker. He's not afraid to go in there, get dirty, get physical to help out his offense. So that's a great pick.
Yep.
25, Bears. We're on the clock. Our needs. We need some edge, a safety, and we need a center. There's really not a center right now with this draft board that I feel comfortable picking. There is a couple interior offensive linemen, but no center. So I'm looking at that safety position. Our offense is set. I'm feeling really good about our offense. Yes, we lost a center in free agency because he retired, but I'm thinking of Dylan Thieneman. He's still on the board at pick 25, and that's who I'm going with to fill that gap in the back end of that defense.
Yeah, that's a great one. You've got to feel good about your offense after what they did last year, and I think that's the biggest thing is bolstering your defensive backfield. So that's a great pick by the Chicago Bears. Next, we got the Buffalo Bills. They could use help on the edge, pass rush. They could use linebacker help, and then they could definitely use some support on the front O-line. I think here, let's go with C.J. Allen out of Georgia, outside linebacker. This is going to be a controversial one, but you want to bolster up the defense. Ultimately, on the offense, you've got the top two, arguably the best quarterback in the NFL. He's got to be able to carry the offense and make a difference. So you've got to be able to keep points, offensive points, low. That way, Josh Allen just needs to be able to do what he can do. So there's no point of getting into shootouts every single time. They're going to go with C.J. Allen. He's played in the SEC. He's a high-caliber player. He's going to make a difference here early in his career.
He's pro-ready. He is pro-ready, man. C.J. Allen, he's outstanding in run defense, and he's pretty solid in coverage as well whenever he drops back. You think about the Bills. They went and traded for DJ Moore with the Bears, who just had the previous pick.
Mm-hmm.
Gave up a second round for him, so you really need to make a splash. You really need this first round pick to hit if you're the Bills. And I think that fills an immediate need for that defensive side for the Bills. So that's a great pick. Next up, we have the San Francisco 49ers, pick 27. We still got everybody on the board available to us that we had prospect for. So I'm going to take the best player available. We need safety help, we need edge, and we need offensive line. There's a few offensive linemen that are getting closer towards the end of their careers, so why not go ahead and draft for the future? However, we need some help on defensive side too, man. That interior defensive lineman. But I'm looking at a name right now that's just staring me in the face and telling me to pick him, and I'm going to go ahead and roll with Caden Proctor.
That's a great pick.
Offensive tackle, Alabama.
Yeah, and he's going to be ready to start once he gets in there. You've got solid tackles there. What's his name? It's spacing me right now.
Trent Williams.
Yeah, best tackle in the league at times, but like you said, you've got to prepare for the future. I think he's in his mid to late 30s at this point, so you've got to get someone to fill that gap. Caden Proctor is a great pick. I'm going to go ahead and do you a favor and let you take the next pick as well. I know you've been hoping he was going to fall like this.
All right, here we go. Pick 28, Texans. Our needs, interior offensive lineman, defensive tackle. So we really need to work on that defensive front, particularly on the interior. And I'm thinking wide receiver. Yes, we're getting Tank Dell back. We don't know how good he's going to be, how ready he's going to be to play another season in this NFL after a major injury that he had a couple years ago. Nico Collins, undoubtedly wide receiver 1. Jaden Higgins, you have Tank Dell coming back. Jalen Knoll. Outside of that, am I feeling comfortable? I think I'm feeling comfortable enough to go ahead and pivot in another direction. Yes, we signed 2 veterans on the offensive line in free agency this past year. A lot of people are saying they're good enough for the next 1 to 2 years. That's not good enough for me. I want to go crazy and go ham on offensive line and prepare for the future. While C.J. Stroud is still on his rookie contract, I'm going with the guy out of Oregon, Emmanuel Pregnon.
Okay.
Guard out of Oregon.
It's an interesting one. I know a lot of people who would have went with Caleb Lemieux, but I think that's a really good pick. Like you said, CJ Stroud, you can't give him any excuses to not perform this year, throughout his rookie contract, so I think it's a great one. Kansas City, you need wide receiver help, as we said before. You need cornerback help, you need edge help. Man, right here, we're going to go with Avion Terrell out of Clemson, defensive back. Just bolster up the defense. When Patrick Mahomes comes back, it's the same situation as Josh Allen. You don't want to have to be worrying about your defense. You've got some really good key pieces on that side, but this is just going to bolster it, so that's who we're going to go with.
That's a great pick. He's known as the punch-out king. Steve Spagnuolo, his main thing on that defense for the Chiefs, forcing turnovers. So that's a solid, great pick for the Chiefs at pick 29. Pick 30, Dolphins. We are on the clock. Again, our needs are wide receiver, edge, and cornerback. Our previous pick was receiver, Mekhi Lemon. So now I'm pivoting. I'm focusing on the offensive line. We still have Caleb Lamu, offensive tackle. He is the best offensive lineman remaining on this board. So I've got to go with Caleb Lamu, offensive tackle out of Utah, to bolster that offensive line and help protect Malik Willis.
Yeah. Malik Willis, he's going to need all the help he can get out there. Javon A-Chain, you need group of guys to be able to block adequately for them. So it's a great pick. New England Patriots, they had an outstanding season this go round. 14-3. Need some O-line help. You need some edge help. Ultimately here, for their pick in the first round, we are going to go with Blake Miller out of Clemson, offensive tackle. Just to be able to protect Drake May. He was running a lot in that playoff game. Shouldn't have to. So that's who we're going to roll with.
It's a great pick. You got to protect your quarterback of the future. He's done so much for that organization the past couple of years. Go ahead and protect him for the next 5 to 10 years and not have to worry about it. That's a great pick. All right, next up, Seahawks, pick 32. We need a running back because we just lost Kenneth Walker in free agency. We need some edge help, and we need a cornerback. There's quite a bit of cornerbacks available at this point. They're very solid, but Jadarian Price, running back from Notre Dame, Jeremiah Love's backup, was looking pretty enticing, and that would help solidify a need that we need right now in this moment. However, we got to get some cornerback help. Try to keep as many pieces on that defensive side as possible. Bringing in this guy will help levy the blow of losing some players on that defensive side. I am going to go with Colton Hood, cornerback out of Tennessee, to fill that gap in the back end of that defense.
Awesome. All right, that was our final pick for the first round of the 2026 draft. I think we did a pretty good job. What are your thoughts?
I think we nailed it. A few picks that came out of left field, but hey, I love it. Every year you're going to get teams that make random picks that you think shouldn't have been made, but they're all great picks. You can't go wrong with any of these picks. This is a great first round.
Yeah, and obviously there's going to potentially be some trades, people moving up and down, but I think as far as teams' needs go, I think they'd be pretty happy across the board with a lot of these picks. Y'all let us know what y'all think. Give us some thoughts in the comments. Maybe we do some more draft coverage before the draft happens. I think on the next episode we're going to do our top 3 prospects across the board. But like I said, let us know your thoughts. And so why don't you go ahead and tell me, first round, who's got the best pick, who has the highest draft grade, I guess, out of the first round?
Man, that's tough. As a Texans fan, you want to say your team, especially considering that I chose to pick for my team. But, man, there's just too many other good options. I really, really like Kenyon Sadiq at 14 to the Ravens. I feel like out of every team that is just missing that one piece, it is an outstanding playmaker in the offense for your all-pro MVP quarterback who happens to be Lamar Jackson. I think Kenyon Sadiq is a perfect pick for the Ravens at pick 14.
In Baltimore, I am taking consulting positions. If y'all want to bring me in, I'm happy to go in there, go over some things with y'all. My choice, best draft grade, first round, definitely has to be the Kansas City Chiefs. If you're getting Caleb Downs at 9, it's a steal of a deal, lower than what most people are thinking he's going to go. Best defensive back in the draft, in my opinion. And then at number 29, you've got Avian Terrell. Come on, he's going to be able to get you plenty of takeaways, be productive, played at a high caliber school. Both these guys are going to be ready to come in and contribute. Kansas City Chiefs. That's got to be the top grade for me.
Yeah, highly improved. I would say their defense is the most improved in just the first round than any other team in the league right now. With Caleb Downs, Avion Taylor, that defense lost 3 key pieces in free agency, and you filled 2 of those in a huge way with this first round mock draft. So that's awesome.
Yeah, so you guys give us your thoughts. Obviously, we're going to be doing this again next year. We'll be following up on this draft board after we get the final ones coming up on 22nd, 23rd. And y'all tune in for more.
Go ahead and give us a follow and hit that subscription bell. See y'all later.
See y'all.